Paul Lil Sutton.
La Lil Sutton.
Welcome to... Ooh.
Whose pussy is this? Okay, so...
Hi, welcome to another podcast that we're filming again. My God.
Oh, yeah, we had some hiccups, some technical difficulties yesterday, we'll say. So, we thought we'd do something a bit different that's a little bit more...
Lighthearted,
and I feel like it's kind of more interactive, even though we're not actually interacting with you, but we're using your messages.
Yeah. So you guys would have noticed that while we've been in lockdown, we've been trying to engage with you more, putting up some polls, and we've also been putting up some questions for you guys to give us your answers. And I think it's also kind of us doing a little survey to see how people respond.
Yeah, it's really cool to be able to have you guys voice some opinions with us too, because we know that people love to have their opinion. And also it's kind of nice because we very much are always on the same kind of wavelength, so it's cool to have people who have
opposing opinions
that are different to ours. Yeah.
So we put up a couple questions. Well, actually, we put up a poll first, and the poll was, have you ever been ghosted?
And have you ever ghosted someone?
And what was quite funny is that the statistics were quite equally opposing. Yeah. So if you had been ghosted, it was like 79%.
Yeah. And 71% if you had been. But 79% of people had ghosted someone else.
Yeah.
Which is actually more than I expected. Considering most of our listeners or followers are actually female. So I was like, you dirty bitches.
We're just as bad as each other.
We're just as bad as the guys.
I know. We are fuckboys.
I know that.
We say this a lot.
I own that. I'm not anymore. At times. Fuck it.
Okay, so in response to the polls that you gave us, we wrote some questions because we wanted to kind of dig a little bit deeper. So the first question that we asked you guys was, how did it make you feel when you've been ghosted? Should we read our own answers to start with?
Oh, yeah. Where is it? Yeah. You go first.
I wrote, confused as of what went wrong. I would prefer the cold, hard truth instead of self-doubt. I always prefer the truth. It's so much easier for me to move on when I know exactly why it didn't work out. Even if it's like, you didn't tick all the boxes. I'm not attracted to you in that way. I would not give a fuck, because then I wouldn't be sitting there wondering, oh, should I have not said that? Was I too forward?
Yeah. That's my answer was disappointed, questions my self-worth, and I was left feeling confused. I hate when ghosting makes you question who you are or what you like, how you're trying to be or whatever, because like it sucks. It's like it makes you feel like you are the problem. When like, to be honest though, I've never been like actually dumped or broken up with, other than I've been ghosted. Yeah,
no one's
like,
ever...
I've been ghosted 100% of the time.
100%!
Unless I've been the one to call it off.
I've only either dumped a person...
Or been ghosted.
That's it. That's how all my relationships end.
That's sad, man.
I think that's wild because to me, ghosting is just you being a coward. 100% of a coward, being selfish as well, because you would rather just disappear and not deal with the issue and take no accountability for your actions.
Yeah.
And just put all that rejection onto someone else with no explanation.
It's definitely a behaviour that is more reflective of the person who's done it. Yeah. But you still end up feeling like shit.
Yeah.
And it's so, like, you just can't get over it as well. Like, it takes a long time, I find anyway. Like, I can't just be like, oh, cool, he didn't text me back for 3 days in a row now. But maybe he still will. Maybe he'll text me again.
And think about
you do hold on to that. You think that maybe they will.
But also think about the repercussions of ghosting is that you don't want to be ghosted again. So then you end up not replying to guys' texts and leaving them on scene and trying to cut it short before they can because you don't want them to ghost you.
It's so defensive.
Yeah, and that just creates a bigger gap between us men and women when we interact with each other. And not just men and women, this happens in all kinds of relationships.
It does. I feel like also like something I've kind of discovered lately, I suppose, is like you can open a message from someone and not reply, like literally not on purpose, but it's because maybe they're more invested in that than you are. And then I feel bad when I go and I'm like, oh, fuck, I should reply, but I don't really want to.
Or you have options.
I
got options. Okay, let's read some of the answers that you gave us.
The vomit emoji? It's true. It makes you feel sick.
Rejected, confused, I guess.
Oh my God.
Unattractive and not enough.
This one. Why the fuck don't you want this bomb pussy, you small dick cunt? I love this one.
Energy.
This is good. That's
Wait.
so good. But she's right.
She's fucking right. Like, you're fucking lost. If you don't even want to pick up the pieces of your actions, like, I don't need you. Like, I don't need that
Honestly.
kind of small dick energy.
You don't, but why
Ghosting is small dick energy.
Why the fuck don't you want this bomb ass pussy?
Honestly, you're lost. I don't think I've ever had someone that I've had sex with ghost me because my pussy is that bomb.
Oh no, that's definitely happened to me. I know. It's because it's too bomb. They're like, fuck, can't do it again. I'll fall in love. That's why. They
It's
don't want to
a
fall
fact.
in love with me. I know.
It's true.
I'm too much woman. I'm too much woman for you.
Like crap because you just want people to be honest and respect the honesty.
Honestly, literally, honesty is such a big thing. Like,
Honesty is big dick energy, masculine energy, and you can have that whether you're a man or a woman.
what about this? Felt gaslighted, like I was crazy, as if I'd made up the connection we had. That's
Facts.
so true. So true.
Gaslighting, 100%. Especially if they love bomb you, and then you're like, oh my god, this guy's like so into me, and all of a sudden they just retract.
Oh my god, it's the most annoying when
burped.
they... You kind of have to keep that in. It's natural.
Oh well.
It's the most annoying though when someone who chases you so hard and you're like, fine, I'll give you a chance, and then they fucking ghost you.
As soon as
The audacity!
As soon as I give you my attention, and then you don't want it now.
No, honestly, that makes me feel gaslighted and fucking crazy. Like, don't chase me so
Yeah.
much and then disappear. Mm-hmm. What? I gave you a chance.
Why do you think that happens though?
Because they literally can't... It's like what... They can't actually handle the amount of woman that you really are. Like, they don't know how to proceed with a strong female. And
think
they're
it'll-
actually unsure about what they want.
I think that happens with me a lot because we're both strong women and we're very sure of ourselves and we know what we want. So when a guy might think that they know what they want, like a guy might think that they want someone like us, and then when they're given someone like us, they're like, well, this is too real. I'm not ready for commitment.
That's 100% it. I think also... They like to, for women like us, I think they like to pretend that they're on our level, and then they realize that they're not.
They're not.
And by then they've already smashed, and then you're like, fuck you.
Yeah, facts.
You know, it's like they realize, oh fuck, actually, nah.
Or they
maybe they
haven't
hate
smashed yet, and they ghost you because they realize it's too real, but then they'll come back because they're like, I still want to smash.
They always
They
come
always
back
come back for the puss.
Always come back. That's what we need to put on one of our t-shirts.
Oi,
Always
facts.
come back from the puss. Guys, we're going to make merch.
Do you know
one day.
how, how many times we have said that? Because they always come back.
They always come back for the puss.
How many lockdown returns of old flames have you had in the past
I've
3
lost
weeks?
count, actually, because I don't recycle dick.
I don't recycle dick, but
That's on period.
I got one. Are you okay? Checking
Oh,
in on you.
no!
I know it's been a while. It's been a fucking year, you fucking psycho. And also a little love confession. What did you get?
I don't remember. I got a call last night, which was very out of the blue. Very out of the blue. I was
Do I
like,
know this person?
no, but I did tell you about it.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh,
so I got a call.
yep.
She's with me. I got a call, a text from someone who I never actually met. A couple of people being like, oh, we should meet, we should hang out. Where are we going? What are we doing? Like, I mean, to be honest, I don't think I responded to any of these.
No. They were all left on scene. I screenshotted one and put it on my story, and then he was like, what? You screenshotted that? And I was like, yes, don't act like a clown or I'll expose you.
No, I expose a lot of people like that. Why they come back? Oh, fuck, I don't know. But don't text me and expect that I'm still going to be the same desperate woman I maybe was way back then.
No.
I'm not the same woman.
We've evolved.
We've evolved. Forever evolving.
We've got new vibrators now. We don't need you.
Honestly. We've got not enough room to open my broken, ghosted soul. Felt confused. I felt emotional and my feelings were broken. Like, this feeling honestly sucks.
I feel like men need to listen to this. Oh, not just men. No, I'm not going to attack men.
We can't attack men
because we do this as well.
Women ghost as well.
Yeah. And I think people who do ghost or have ghosts, you need to really acknowledge the effects that you're putting onto other people, how you're making other people feel. Because the other question that we asked was, why did you ghost someone instead of honestly communicating?
We wanted to get the answers as to like, well, why the fuck did you do that? Because the reason we do this podcast, or one of them, is to open real, honest lines of communication between men and women, or
close the
whatever
gap.
Close the gap, whatever your sexual orientation is. But we want to make that sure that we're educating people or helping them understand that communicating is so fine.
Yeah.
Like, in making that a real big deal. So some of the responses we got as to why people ghosted,
I
were way too clingy.
I wrote, I did communicate, but they were persistent, couldn't accept the loss, so I had to ghost. So have you ever, like, cut it off with someone, sent that rejection text, but then they keep messaging you? I've had that a few times.
Yes, a couple of times, but, like, by that point, I'm not even going to respond because it's embarrassing for you.
Like, have some self-respect.
Like,
I said no, so stop chasing me because I'm not going to respond to that after that.
I'm never going to do that
You
again.
deserve to be ghosted by that point.
You really do deserve it at that point.
Accept
like,
the fucking L.
Just if someone's going to take the time to honestly communicate, then fuck off. I'll read mine.
Yeah.
I actually wrote in two because, you know. So one of them, this is really honest. I ghosted them because I could maybe then hit them up again at a later date if I was bored or horny.
I've had that happen to me from a guy.
No, same.
Yeah.
So it's fair that I can do it.
It's like they don't want to pursue a romantic connection with you, but they also still want to fuck you, so they don't cut it off completely.
I feel like they do it because it's like if they don't have to literally say I'm not keen anymore, they've still got you as a backup, as an option.
Yeah,
somewhere,
if they decide they're keen again.
Which is why they still text you a year later.
I think that also is another reason to ghost someone is if you have more than one option and that person is just not the best option at that point in time.
Yeah. And then my other one was I didn't know how to let them down easily by telling them that my feelings had changed. And that's quite cowardice, like 100%.
Yeah.
It's like when you just kind of slowly fizzle
Fizzle
away that
off.
contact.
Yeah.
Most of the time when they admit it, they didn't want to hurt my feelings, even though it did.
Mm-hmm. I saw him drive past my house twice and got stalker vibes. I lived down a real small cul-de-sac. That's so psycho, man.
That's crazy! Because we didn't really have a relationship and we're casually talking, that's fair.
I think that's fair. I feel like if you haven't even met yet, and maybe it's like you're talking on a dating app or you're talking on Instagram, you don't really have to explain why you stopped talking to that person.
Nah, not at all.
I don't think you deserve a ghost. It's not that you deserve a ghost, but you don't deserve an explanation.
You don't, I mean, there are lots of, like, you know, powerful quotes about, like, not owing anyone an explanation for if you decide not to stop to keep talking to them or whatever. But I feel like those are a little bit avoidant.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes you still need to, because it's not, the way I see it when in these situations, it's not about how it makes you feel, it's about also the other person, the impact, yeah. So whether you're trying to hurt someone's feelings or not, there's still an impact. So regardless, maybe you didn't really know this person or you don't really have a relationship, but sometimes you still have to tell them why. Yeah. Because for them it could mean so much more. Mm-hmm. Like, how many times have you been in a situation where the guy's liked you less than you've liked him? And then if he ghosts you, you're like, fuck.
And I feel like we're trying to close the gap, right? And the best way to close that gap is to behave the way that we want to be treated, right?
Yeah.
So regardless of what the level of the relationship is, we want to make sure that we don't impose trust issues onto somebody else or make other men shut down because we're so cold.
Exactly. Well, like, all of these things is a reflection of how you are. Mm-hmm. So when you've been ghosted, you know that it's not a reflection of you, it's a reflection of their behavior, their relationship with themselves. Mm-hmm. Everything we always talk about is like manifesting and being what you want to attract. Mm-hmm. So this is actually why I try not to ghost people so much or anymore. Is because I believe in karma.
Yeah.
And I don't want it to come back to me.
Yeah.
Hasn't quite yet. Maybe I've got a lot of karma making up to do. But,
I don't think I've ghosted someone for years. But I don't really put myself out there in that way anymore. Because I'm really
I haven't ghosted anyone in a really long time either.
Because I'm really trying to find my husband. Anybody? So I'm not really trying to fuck around, and I'm not trying to like date anyone, and I can get a sense of what someone's intentions are really quickly. So I almost don't ever have to ghost.
No, so the last guy I was seeing, I had to actually call it off with him, and it was a really civil conversation. It did actually make me feel pretty shit at the end of it because he wasn't being very honest throughout, I guess, which is probably another reason I have some trust issues.
Yeah.
But at least we had a really honest conversation and it was fine. Like, I mean, again, he's one of those.
Yeah.
Nobodies to me now, but it made it way easier because now I'm
you close the door.
Yeah, and you also refine this process. You're leveling up. So like now, if I'm going to talk to someone, they already know that I'm looking for something serious.
At
like,
the beginning.
I'm not trying to fuck around. If I wanted to fuck around,
I'd be already sucking your dick.
I definitely would have broken lockdown.
Yeah.
Let's just read these.
Because it's a lifestyle. You know the vibes.
You know the vibes.
You know the vibes.
It's true.
No, sis. It's not a lifestyle.
Me? It's true.
It's true, but don't.
But don't. Nah.
Because they weren't taking me seriously, I said I wasn't interested. Yeah, that's like kind of what I said before.
Yeah.
Know when to take when no is the answer. Like, listen.
It's like, you know, when you go somewhere, know when to read the fucking room.
Yeah.
Read the room! Like, if it's not right, honestly, I always say that. Like, dip before you get asked to leave.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Come on.
Avoidance and sometimes being a savage. At least she's honest.
It's fats, though.
Ghosting is fucking savagery.
Way too clingy. Someone who's too clingy, who can be really overbearing, can be intense. And, like...
That's the biggest turn off, hey?
It's only a turn off if you don't like them that way.
That, and also if you don't know me enough. Like, if you've gotten to know me and then you're like that, I can understand.
Yeah, that's
because I'm
cute.
amazing.
Yeah, that's
But
cute.
if you don't know me and you're, like, texting me all the time, relax.
I mean, I feel like ghosting happens more so in a way more casual kind of situation. It's like, imagine if you were in a serious relationship and your boyfriend ghosted you. That's so savage.
Fucked.
If anyone's had that happen, though, can you please send us a message? I want to know the full story.
I've had someone that I was talking to for months. It was like a long distance ting. And then they ghosted me. Which I feel like you can get away with when you live in different countries. But it's fucking ruthless.
But that's a massive excuse. We live in different countries. Like, long distance is fucking hard.
Well, if you have a good reason, just tell me the fucking reason.
Like
Cardi
a
B,
girlfriend?
what was their reason? What was their reason?
Or like a girlfriend?
Oh, actually.
I had that.
Yep.
Cool. Okay, what about, it was unsafe to do anything else other than sever all contact. Okay, that sounds
That's
quite
fair.
intense. Unsafe, though.
Yeah, well, that sounds like that person was abusive.
Or controlling.
Yeah.
As sad as I felt, it was easier for me to ghost him instead of saying I wasn't into him. It sometimes is. It is. It's definitely, it's avoidance. It's cowardice, you know? Only ghosted if it never felt necessary to elaborate. Again, same thing we said before, like that you don't quite know them well enough to give them the explanation, or there's not enough that you need to say. Another one like that. Yeah.
Have you ever ghosted someone? Because ghosting, obviously, we live in a digital world, you can do that. But then you've come across them in real life? I have. And it was like years later. It was someone from Sydney that I ghosted. And then when I went to visit visit Sydney,
Yeah.
and he was at the same club as me, and the whole time he was hovering around me, and I was like, oh my god, get away from me. Like, I've come back to see my friends, not my past. And then he messaged me at like 4 a.m. and was
Oh
like,
my god, this was just like earlier.
literally
Yeah.
this year, and he was like after I left the club, then he decides to message me and was like, welcome back to Sydney. And I'm like, fucking, I'm leaving next week. Don't even fucking message me. Like,
I've definitely, maybe not quite the same, but I've definitely like ignored people and then seen them at like the supermarket or something, and I've been like, fuck. Or it's actually kind of funny when you see them with their new girlfriend. I've done that a few times, and I'm like, oh,
downgrade.
So then we asked another question, and this one was, when someone you were seeing called it off with you, how did it make you feel? So this is when someone's actually been honest and sent you the damn text, or they've had the conversation.
You've taken your big clit energy or your big dick energy, and you've just come and you said, this is what it is. I'm not feeling you. I hope that's okay.
Yeah.
All the best.
So some of these are really awesome, and then some of them are kind of like a little bit sad.
I wrote, rejected, but I respected the honesty, helped me to move on quickly, because you get that closure.
Well, I've never had this happen before because I've just been ghosted, or I've been the one to break up.
Yeah, but to be fair,
So-
I had to prompt the question. I had to be like, what's going on?
Okay, yeah. So I wrote this as if I was receiving it from me. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I presume that this is what the people would feel like if they got the text from me.
Yeah, the rejection text.
Grateful of their honesty. It means you can move on and can potentially be friends. Especially if you've got a connection that could be a friendship.
Yeah.
I like to still, like, know people. I'm not going to fuck you again. I said I don't recycle. But, like, it's still kind of important to have, like, what's that word? Civil. Be civil.
Yeah. And I think especially if it's someone you've invested a lot of time with, like, what a waste to just end up not talking and leave things on a bitter note. Like, you still have good memories together. So be an adult, have a conversation about it, and that way you can be like, yeah, you know what, we're not right for each other, but I still cherish the time we did have together.
So I think especially for me and you, though, when the way that we meet people now is more so through, like, friends.
Yeah,
like, or
I don't
friends
go-
of friends.
We're really stubborn about, like, not searching.
Yeah. So I think the reason why I would always end it with someone really civilly these days, especially, is because I'm going to see them again. And also,
Yeah.
it's likely that they know my friends. And I don't want them to be like, oh yeah, fuck, she ghosted me, what a bitch. Like, I always want to leave people knowing that I'm actually not a fucking savage, and that they can still say something nice about our interaction. Because I don't want to go around hurting anyone's feelings. That's not all good.
But also sometimes calling it off with someone can be setting a boundary. Like,
Yeah.
I am done with you. I'm done with this. It's not working for me. It's not serving for me. Therefore, you need to respect that boundary and stop messaging me and leave me alone.
Yeah, exactly. And that setting boundaries is totally fine. Okay.
How did it feel when someone called it off with you? I called it on with their dad.
Okay. I mean, that's a family affair. Fucking destroyed. I've always been broken up with and I hate it. Oh, I'm sorry, sis.
Respected mostly. Like absolute shit because they didn't officially call it off. They just stopped replying slowly. Oh my god, so many people do that.
No, but she's got an extra bit which says, and we were officially dating too, so it was even worse.
That's fucked.
So that's what we said before. Your boyfriend called it
Yeah.
off. Well, he didn't even.
I would confront that person.
I probably would too. Okay. Shattered my reality and had to reevaluate what path I thought my life was on. Best thing ever. That's fucking cool.
That's cool that you were able to take that.
Yeah, because it definitely, it is. It's shattering. But at least she turned that around into... We always say that breaking up is a really good thing. Whereas it's the best thing, dump him.
Yeah, and I think also if you're someone who is getting the rejection text or being let down, like, respect that decision. Like, the fact that someone was going to be honest with you and had the respect to be honest with you and tell you how they felt, you have to kind of, don't be angry, don't get riled up about it, because
Yeah.
that's just going to kind of add to that ghosting culture.
I mean, not only that, we all know how hard it is to send these messages. It's so hard. So, like, yeah, have respect. Like, I always like to say that you shouldn't react when you're, like, emotional. Just give it a minute. Like, if someone sent you a text to call shit off, you don't have to reply straight away. I mean, ideally, hopefully they will do most of this in person, but sometimes it does happen via text message. I mean, we live in the age where everything's digital as well, so
Yeah.
it's almost not that bad to be broken up with via text anymore.
It's not. And I feel like...
It depends, again, on the level of your investment into one another, though.
Yeah, the guys that I have sent that rejection text to, and I feel like last year I was on a fucking roll. Like, I had to spit out these texts, like, almost every other month.
Yeah, I've sent a few.
I sent a few last year.
I have one template that everyone gets.
Okay, share us. Share with us. Share
So,
with the class.
if you haven't received this text from me yet, it's coming.
Pending.
No, I'm kidding. But I always send the same one. Just insert different name or whatever. We were thinking about doing some kind of templates for you guys as well. So if you feel like there's something you really need help with trying to say to someone,
Yeah.
hit us up.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is my text. Hey, I've had a really fun time getting to know you and the time we've spent hanging out. That being said, I think it's best that we leave this. You're an awesome person. I'd like to stay in touch, but I'm not sure I can focus energy on something that isn't aligned with what I'm really looking for. I'm sorry if I miscommunicated or confused you. I hate to do this by text, but I don't want you to feel like you have to see me in person to have this conversation. I wish you nothing but the absolute best, and I hope you can understand. Sorry, but who wouldn't want that text?
Yeah. How can you get mad at that text?
I want that text. Like, no, you can't get mad.
You
because
can't.
There's an apology, there's a reason.
There's accountability.
I've taken responsibility.
I've acknowledged that I still enjoyed your company and there was a reason why there was interest at one point.
And I also ended it with an X. I don't often do that.
Okay, so I have one too.
Oh, she got one.
So this was a guy that I was seeing, and then I had lost interest after a couple dates.
Which happens.
Which happens. This happens a lot.
It's natural and totally normal. It's also...
Yeah.
Sorry.
It only takes like a couple dates, maybe even one, for you to get a sense of whether you want to be with that person or not.
I find sometimes this is why I don't like getting too invested in a virtual relationship with somebody, because unless you've met them in person already, but it can be quite different when you actually hang out, and that's fine. But yeah, you want us to kind of, I don't know, have some level of like mystery so that when you do spend time in person, you can really feel them out and there's no expectation. Yeah.
So I kind of was like off this person, and then they kept messaging me and I was like, oh, I actually have to call it up with this person because they kept asking me to hang out again and I knew I didn't want to.
Also, I reckon you sense a vibe, you sense a change in energy, right? You always know when it's a little bit different, and he probably would have sensed it.
A good indication if you're not into that person anymore is you're not thinking about them when you're masturbating, and the thought of kissing them again is kind of gross.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he asked me on another date, and this was, he asked me what I was doing that night to see if I was free so we could hang out. So this was my response. I said, sorry, just going to chill tonight. Thanks for asking. Honestly, I don't see myself going on another date. I'm sorry. Couldn't have chosen a nicer guy to take me out, but I don't think I connect with you enough to see a long-term relationship working. I really appreciate your time and how kind you've been to me. I'm sure I will see you around. Smiley face.
Okay, so here's the next question. So when you've sent this message, and same, I can ask myself this, did you get a response?
Yes.
And was it a positive response?
Yes. I've had like a few rejection texts in the past few months that I've sent, and all of them have responded, but then I just don't reply to the response.
Yeah, you never reply to the response because we've done that. We've done it. It's a cut. It's over. The cord is cut. Whenever I've sent this message, I should say that I do alter it slightly depending on the situation of the person, but that's the gist of it. Every time I send that text, people always will reply back and be like, thanks for your honesty. That's so mature, blah, blah, blah. No one has ever been like, well, fuck you.
I've always had like, thank you for being honest with me, like, shot, like, all the best. Like,
exactly. And then there's just no bad blood then.
Yeah.
And that's nice. We're closing the gap. So I think that's lovely.
That's maturity.
That is
big clit energy.
Big clit energy. Big dick energy. We're grown up.
Yeah, I think we need to cancel ghosting culture.
Ghosting, it's we can leave it in this part of 2020 that's already gone. 2020 is pretty much cancelled, but take ghosting with it. Leave it in the trash.
I feel like the only people that deserve ghosting are people with toxic behaviors. Like, they don't even deserve it.
They don't. But some people don't even recognize their toxicity.
They don't. Exactly.
I think all in all, regardless of the status of that relationship, at least send someone a message or tell them that you're not interested.
But not just for them, but for you.
Yeah.
As well. It's not that we don't need closure. We all know that we don't need someone else's permission to have closure, but it's about you having self-respect and being like, calling people out on their shit, putting them in their place, then you can walk away being like, whether he wants to learn that lesson from me or not is up to him, but I've done my part and now I can move on.
Exactly. And not only that, you learn from that as well. So you know, for the next time you have an interaction with someone romantically or on a friendship level, that you will be able to act accordingly and better in that situation.
Yes.
Okay.
Snaps
I think
for that podcast.
we killed it.
That was cool. I feel like we should do something like this again.
Yeah, okay. I think the interaction with you guys, your questions, it's quite cool because we get to talk about things that we think are relevant.
And we can have an idea of what is going on in, like, between relationships between men and women and these days, but we don't really know unless we hear your responses what's really going on.
Yeah. Also, I think the polls that we've been doing have been really cool because they're quite, like, a poll is the yes or no answer, and then we can elaborate into these for everybody, which makes them sense because they can be quite timely to what's going on in the world.
Yeah. Bye. See you next week. See you.
Oh, we've got 3 wishes.
We've got 3 wishes coming. Yeah.
That's tomorrow.
Lovely.
Send us your wishes.
Send us your wishes.
Bye. Bye.
That's it for this episode, fam. Thanks for listening.
If you have any questions, topics, or suggestions, you can DM us on Instagram. The link is in our bio.
And don't forget, whose pussy is this?
It's yours.
Deuces.
Bye.